Assalamu alaikum everyone. Today I've had the pleasure of meeting Dr. Rania Awaad, Professor of Psychiatry at Stanford University. And Professor Rania, I wanted to ask you about crying and how people talk about this or think of this as being a sign of weakness and that brave people don't cry. What would you have to say about this?
What I would say, subhanAllah, is really quoting directly from the hadith of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. When you understand that he himself, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, cried whenever there was something that was very difficult for him, it changes your perspective. And we have a very powerful narration in which his own son Ibrahim is taking his very last breaths, and he's in the Prophet's lap, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and the Prophet starts to tear and cry. And the fellow Sahaba sitting there are surprised, or they're trying to figure out, is this okay? He's the Prophet, he's a man, is this reasonable behavior? What's happening? And so they ask, "Oh Rasulullah, do you cry?" As in to say, is it okay to cry? And then he says a very famous and very important hadith, which we now need to understand in terms of, is it truly a sign of weakness or not? And he says, the eye sheds tears, إِنَّ الْعَيْنَ لَتَدْمَعُ وَالْقَلْبِ يَحْزَنُ, the heart feels sorrow, but we don't say other than that which pleases Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. وَلَا نَقُولُ إِلَّا مَا يُرْضِي رَبَّنَا. And then he looks at his son Ibrahim in his lap and he says, وَلِفِرَاقِكَ يَا إِبْرَاهِيمُ نَحْنُ مَحْزُونُونَ. We are, O Ibrahim, for your departure, we feel sorrow. He teaches us so many things in this short incident where you see, subhanAllah, you can feel sorrow, you will feel sorrow, especially if your loved one, in his case his child, is passing away. And you're going to cry, and this is normal behavior. This is not problematic behavior. And in addition, we don't wail, we don't scream, we don't do anything like this, but we actually do tear up. And the tearing up in and of itself is something that is sufficient, and it's not unmanly or un-Islamic. It's an emotion Allah created, and it's a release Allah has given us. But we don't go to any sort of extremes. Like he said, he put the boundary up. You don't say that which doesn't please Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. I hope that helps, inshallah.